I was kind of born. I was adopted into it actually, but I just got around it, and I went to 2 years at Harding, and I missed being around it. So just that wanting to be able to work for yourself, just being able to achieve something was what drove me back to start farming on my own about 2 years ago. So we have set of planters that we use. We have 2 John Deere soybean planters, and we use them, and that's what we put it in the ground with. And there's different varieties of seed. That's a misconception. It's all the same. There's different varieties that we use. But then after that, we use our sprayers, and we have to keep it clean and stuff, and then we harvest it. Then when we harvest it, we put it in these grain bins or haul it off to the elevator. Just kind of a 3-step process that you use, plus tillage and other applications like that we use. Well, there's really no normal day. You start off with a plan, and about 3 hours in, you're already on plan Z, but you just have to just kind of have a general plan of what you need to do, because it's different every day, and then you just work through it. And if a problem comes up, then you have to use ingenuity to come around and just make it happen pretty much. So like for instance, if we're hauling with trucks here, then whenever we get done with that, we'll have to, if we have an issue or something like that, you have to just think on the fly and utilize your employees also to make the best of the situation. You have to be very independent minded, but also be willing to lean on somebody that might have more knowledge than you. But you also have to be open to other ideas, open to change, because just in the last 15 years, technology has become a big thing through auto guidance. Swath control on our sprayers saves thousands of dollars, but you might not be open to it at first. So you have to just be open to anything that might be new. By being self-employed, I don't have to ask to be off, for instance. There's certain times a year where we will be working 100+ hours a week, sometimes 115 hours. But then there are other times where we might take off for a multiple amount of weeks, just whatever needs to be done. And like, you might work hard one day, but then the next day, if it rains or weather becomes a factor, then you might not have to as much. So it's just the flexibility of being able to go do what I want to when I want to, pretty much. Without farmers, there's no food. I mean, be it like I am, being grain, or even the cattle farmers, stuff like that. It's just a lot of work, and without that, there's no food, because they cannot manufacture it in a facility at the scale or as safe as we do out here. It's tough. I mean, you have to really be born into it to be able to get into it. By acquiring ground and stuff, you have to know the right people. But it's not impossible. But it's very expensive, and you just have to just be able to manage your costs and be very time efficient. Not be, well, I need to plant tomorrow, here's what I'm going to plant. You have to okay, harvest is done, here's what I want to do for next year, here's how much I want to do, and here's what I need to use to be able to capitalize and get the goods that you need to put that crop in the next year. I like the job, but if you want to do it, you have to be dedicated, and you can't halfway do it. If you want to do a halfway job of it, you might as well not even start, because you're not going to be able to get any ground, and it's also going to be hard to find people willing to work for you to do whenever you want to run an operation like that. You have to want to do it top notch or not do it at all.